Good morning, dear children. Now we will move to section B of our chapter reflection. Okay. In the section A, we have discussed about reflection of light and we have discussed many things related to plane mirrors. Now, in section B, we are going to find how the number of images formed when two plane mirrors are kept inclined to each other. Okay, have you gone to planetarium? In planetarium, we have a room called mirror magic. Do you remember that? And inside that, when you enter, there will be an object placed, and when you check, you can see multiple images, many images of this object. Do you remember that? Only one object will be there. Simply if you keep a mirror, you can see the object as well as the image inside the mirror. Isn't it? When you are considering a plane mirror. Now, there will be just one object, but you can see many number of images. So, do you remember that? Else, again, when you go, just have a look on it. Okay. So, just one object, but many number of images are there. Do you think that it's a magic? It's not a magic. We can obtain many number of images by keeping two plane mirrors inclined to each other at a particular angle. If we are keeping two plane mirrors, with a single mirror, normally we can see the object as well as the image inside the mirror. But if you are having two plane mirrors, okay, so let this be one plane mirror. Now I am keeping another plane mirror. It is inclined to this. Okay. So if you are keeping two plane mirrors, is it 90 degree? Anyway, if you are keeping two plane mirrors inclined to each other, then and after that, when you keep an object in between this, then you can see multiple images of the object. Okay. So, many number of images can be obtained if you are keeping an object between two plane mirrors inclined to each other. So, in order to calculate the number of images formed, we have an equation n is equal to 360 by theta, where n stands for the number of images, theta stands for the angle at which these two mirrors are inclined. So, which angle is formed in between these two? That is theta. Okay, so is it clear? In order to calculate the number of images formed between two plane mirrors inclined to each other, we have the equation n is equal to 360 by theta, where n is the number of images and theta is the angle between the two mirrors. Now, after doing this, anyway, we will be getting a value here, isn't it? So, after solving this, suppose you are getting an odd number. Okay? We are getting an odd number as n. So, if we get an odd number as n, the next step is you have to check whether the object is placed symmetrically or asymmetrically between the two mirrors. So, what do you mean by symmetric and asymmetric? Suppose here I have a plane mirror. Here another plane mirror. And if I keep an object at the exact center, half of the object will be closer to this mirror and exactly half will be closer to the other one. Then here we will call this as a what? Symmetric. Okay, this will be symmetric. Instead of this, if I keep like this, is it symmetric? No. Most of the part of the sphere lies closer to the first mirror. So, this is asymmetric. Okay. So, first thing is just calculate, use this equation and get the value of n. N is equal to 360 by theta. Using this, get the value of n. If the value of n is odd, what you have to do? You have to check whether the object is placed asymmetrically or symmetrically. If it is placed asymmetrically, okay, if the object is placed asymmetrically, then number of images formed will be n. Instead of this, if it is placed symmetrically, then the number of objects formed will be n minus 1. So this you have to remember. Okay. If you are getting the value of 360 by theta as an odd number, we have to check whether the object is placed asymmetrically or symmetrically. If the object is placed asymmetrically between the two mirrors, then what will be the number of images formed? It will be equal to n. If it is placed symmetrically, number of images formed will be n minus 1. Now, if 360 by theta is obtained as an even number, if you are getting it as an even number, whether it is symmetric or asymmetric, no matter, number of images will be always equal to n minus 1. Okay. If you are getting a value of 360 by theta as an even number, no need to check whether it is kept as symmetric or asymmetric. Anyway, the number of images formed will be equal to n minus 1. So, I will show you an example for this. Let theta be equal to 72. Okay, let theta be equal to 72. Then how much will be n? 360 by 72. So, 72 into 5. 72 into 5 will give you 360. That means here you will be getting the value of n as 5. Okay, when you divide 360 with 72, you will be getting the answer as 5. So, 5 is an odd number. The next step is check whether the object is placed asymmetrically or symmetrically. If it is placed asymmetrically, then number of images will be how much? 5. If it is placed symmetrically, number of images will be equal to 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. Okay, so is it clear? Then another one, let theta be equal to 60 degree. Okay, let theta be equal to 60 degree. Then n is equal to 360 by 60. 360 by 60 is equal to 6. So if it is an even number, anyway, the number of images will be n minus 1. That is 6 minus 1, which is equal to 5. So is it clear about the number of images formed? What all things you have to remember here? First, we have to check. Use the equation n is equal to 360 by theta, where theta stands for the angle between the two mirrors. Then if you are getting an odd number, we have to check whether the object is placed asymmetrically or symmetrically. Asymmetric means n, symmetric means n minus 1. Then if this value of n is obtained as even number, anyway n minus 1 will give you the answer. Okay, so is it clear now? Now we will check how many images are formed if we are keeping the two mirrors parallel to each other. Okay, so if we keep the two mirrors parallel to each other, and in between this, if you are keeping an object, then how many images will be formed? So what's our equation? N is equal to 360 by theta, isn't it? So when it is kept parallel, what will be the value of theta? Theta will be equal to parallel, means it is not connected, isn't it? So 360 by 0. A number divided by 0 will be equal to infinity. So if two plane mirrors are placed parallel to each other, infinite number of images will be obtained. That is what we can see in the planetarium. Okay, just a single object will be placed, but we can see many number of images. So infinite number of images are obtained if the object is placed between two mirrors which are parallel to each other. Okay, now how many images will be formed when two mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other? If we are keeping two mirrors perpendicular to each other, n is equal to, perpendicular means how much will be the angle in between? It will be 90 degree, isn't it? So how much is 360 by 90? It is 4, isn't it? So You are getting n as 4. Since it is an even number, what you have to do? 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. So if two mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other, how many images are formed? 3 images are formed. Its diagram and other explanations are there. No need to give importance to those things. Okay. We need only these things. And from this section, no need to write the question answers. From section B, I need only lecture notes. Okay. So just lecture notes from section B. So is it clear? First part about how to calculate n, odd and even, what all things we have to do. Then from the second part, what did we learn? If two mirrors are placed parallel to each other, infinite number of images are formed. If two mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other, we will be getting 3 images. Okay. So only that much we need from the first part. Okay. No need for those diagrams and the other explanations. And one more thing is coming in this. That is about the uses of plane mirrors. So you can just study few uses of plane mirrors. What are the uses of plane mirrors? What is the main use? A plane mirror is used as a looking glass, isn't it? If you want to look your face or the body, we will be using a plane mirror. So it is used as a looking glass. Now, in the barber shop, you can see many plane mirrors. What is the use of plane mirrors in a barber shop? To see the back of your head, isn't it? Of the hair. Then, in few shops also you can see plane mirrors. When you enter, many plane mirrors will be kept. Do you know what is the reason for this? If you are keeping the entire inner portion, in the entire wall of the shop, if you are keeping plane mirror, when we view that, what is the actual use? Do you know why they are keeping the entire portion with a plane mirror? The thing is, if many mirrors are there, it gives now the appearance, the entire appearance will change and the size of the shop will appear to be more. Actually, the size will be short. Okay, it will be a small shop, but if many mirrors are there, it creates an optical illusion. It creates an illusion that the length or the area of the room is more. So in halwa shops and all, you can see the entire part, inner portion will be filled with the mirrors, isn't it? You will be the walls, the entire walls of the shop will be covered with plane mirrors. So it creates an illusion that the area of the shop is more. Okay. Then again in periscope, I think you have learned about periscope, isn't it? So in periscope, 2 plane mirrors can be used. Then in kaleidoscope, 3 mirrors, plane mirrors will be kept together and tied together, and inside that we'll be putting the beads or something. So that will be kaleidoscope. So in that also we are using plane mirrors. Okay. So there are many uses for plane mirrors. Just have a look on that. So with that, we completed section B of this chapter. From this chapter, I need just the lecture notes. Okay. So is it clear? Thank you, children.